What's up, everybody? We're back. This is going to be a little bit more of a chatty video. Once again, as is usual for me, it's like 3 a.m. and I can't sleep, so I figured I would record some more Minecraft. I will get back to hard reset, by the way. The thing that's going on right now is they changed a bunch of my meds, and it's making me really wonky to not get too far into it. So like I'm having trouble with some attention span, and things like that. I don't take anything like any attention span increasing medications, but when your doctors are fiddling with stuff, it makes you feel weird. Uh, and so I'm having trouble sleeping. I'm having trouble with a lot of things. I'm having trouble with getting to things that I meant to do. Uh, but it is what it is. You got to deal with these kind of things because it's not just a perfect science. People interact with things differently than other people. So, uh, I finished this storage area, which is far more ornate than it needs to be. Or I didn't finish it. I'm not done with it. I need to go ahead and continue. I need to get some more of this wood. I really like the look of this, how it kind of pulsates like this. See how it kind of goes back to a normal looking wood and then it shines? I really kind of dig that. I could do without the particle effects, but if it really bothers me, I could just shut them off in the options. I'm mostly going to be using this for just maybe eventually if I decide to get into Arcana and stuff in this, then maybe I'll use this for that too. But uh, in the short term, I'm just going to have storage boxes in here. So I need more of this though. I did some terraforming when I start feeling weird and stuff, and they're changing things about my medications and whatnot, I go ahead and I play a lot of Minecraft. I got those Star Trek videos out. If you guys haven't seen those and you've never heard of Star Trek Online, you should check them out. They're kind of cool. Star Trek Online's a pretty fun MMO. If you can handle, playing a game that originally came out in 2010. I know there's a lot of people out there who just cannot handle some of that older style of game development. But it's a pretty good game, and if you're interested, check it out. I've told many people about it over the years, and a lot of them, I mean, I always say the same thing. I say, hey, you can do this, and it's a huge game, and there's a lot of stuff going on in it, but at the same time, you can think about when you didn't know anything about World of Warcraft, and now all the stuff that you know about World of Warcraft, and apply that to any MMO, or even things like Dark Souls or Elden Ring and things like that. There was a point in time where you didn't know all the things, and you're doing fine now. So anywho, it's a pretty cool game. I like it a lot. I don't even really play it that much anymore because I played it so much, just like Warframe. I played so much that I mainly just wanted to get those 3 videos out for you guys to see, so I could, talk about things that I like. It is a YouTube channel. I have been thinking about getting into, maybe playing some indie games, but I'm kind of picky, man. Like, I almost wish I wasn't this way, but I picked up Dying Light because it was free oh no, I should use dirt. Uh, I also need to go and set up some more steel. I picked up Dying Light because it was free on Epic. I think it still is, depending on when this comes out. Early April. It is right now. Uh, it's because it was my birthday. That's the only reason I remember what time of year it is. Uh, an early April birthday boy. It was just a few days ago. Didn't do anything, I don't do cake and stuff like that. A couple of family members bought me some stuff. It's all good. After a certain amount of time, you don't really do much. At least I don't for birthdays and whatnot. I act like I care about how old I am, but in reality, I just don't. Um, okay. So right now, like this video, yeah, I'm just gonna be chilling, doing the things that I would normally do without the camera on and without making content. So you guys can, hopefully you guys grab a cup of coffee or something, lunch or whatever. Just kick back and chill out for a while. I put a lot of these. Well, they're not that bad. I try not to put trees too close together. Like I keep stammering over my words. This wasn't happening a lot before they changed my meds. So it's cool though. I'm gonna go see my doc tomorrow. Uh, Give them the 411 on what's going on. See if they want to change anything, or if we want to chill out and see what happens for a while. The whole deal with me and that kind of stuff is I don't know. Oh, hello, Mr. Turtle. Hello. What are you doing? What's up, buddy? Uh I know a little bit here and there, and whenever they give me something or they want to try something new, I I always research it to find out what exactly it does and stuff. Just because, I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to pretty much everything. I want to know about all the different things. I was really adamantly against it for a long time until I realized that, there's really very little difference between doing what a doctor tells you to or taking herbal compounds or anything else like that. The only difference is that they use the scientific method to figure out if it was effective. And that's a big deal to me. I didn't go and research what chamomile tea does for me when I'm like I know what the book told me when I read books on things like herbal remedies and whatnot. But I couldn't actually tell you if I genuinely felt better or if it was a placebo effect with something like chamomile tea when I had a cold. Was it as effective as, like taking a cold medicine? Absolutely not. So, deal with life in a logical manner. But at the same time, I also totally understand some people's apprehension about it. Uh, the medical industry here in the United States is massive. And when you're talking about an industry that's that big, there is a lot of, there should be some scrutiny involved because you'd be amazed how, I mean, it's like you have a minor problem, right? But there's people all over the country who like have major problems, and it's really in their best interest to make money to be able to provide treatment for those people. And so it's like when you think of it objectively, it's like, well, yeah, it would be very important that they would make the money they need to continue their research and all that kind of stuff. So it's one of those crazy things about modern society. And whether you like it or not, for the, you know, as per the past few, like 15, 20 years, this is the only place you could go to actually make the money you deserve for the effort you put into being a medical practitioner. It's very important for people to do that in other parts of the world, but, at the same time, if you sunk a couple $100,000 getting the training that you needed, those people are going to be very tempted to want to make the amount of money that they should. Is there room for improvement? Absolutely. In the way the medical industry works, I'm not a big fan of the concept of insurance. Obviously, it's a good idea, but at the same time, I don't really like. I've talked about this a little bit in the past. I am a firm advocate of not allowing ourselves to be suckered in by a debt-based society. Once upon a time, Azure, i.e., me, had a credit card that I got for emergencies. Uh, and I specifically asked for a $200 credit limit. And they were like, "You really just want a $200 credit limit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's all I want. I don't want anything else. This is for an emergency, you know?" Well, an emergency happened, and that $200 ended up costing me nearly, what was it, like $3,000. Because at that time I lost my job, I had a bunch of other things happen. I needed to use that $200 to pay off some bills that were very important to me, and then I couldn't pay it back, and I was screwed. There was no insurance for my insurance. So, I do have problems with the way our systems work in modern society. Uh, the only thing I could tell people to try and help them with that concept is that debt is not wealth. I really liked, I really wanted to get this book from this guy called oh my gosh, I forgot his name. It was something like The Successful Dad or something like that. I don't remember what it was. And this guy was talking about, he's a guy who's made a huge amount of money, fortune, and he was talking about learning to use debt. And I was like, buddy, to a degree, I get where you're coming from, but also as a person who has been a victim, and it's very much so a victim. Uh, well, I could tell you a little story about it, actually. I once worked for an establishment. It was a large grocery store, and they pretty much every single review I ever had, all the way up until the last one that I had. That's a year in review where they talk about the effort you put in, the work you do, and all of that kind of stuff. I was A+ the entire time, all the way up until the year that I wasn't, and I got canned. And I was so livid that I scared the crap out of the guy who got told to fire me. Like, he thought for sure I was gonna like punch him or something. And I told him straight up. I said, no, dude, I'm not gonna do that. You know, but I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm really pissed off. And that's because in reality, what they were doing was the same thing that every other establishment does here in the United States. Whether it be to a small degree or a large degree, what actually goes on here is that you will be, they will go ahead and they will tell you things like, "Oh, we're a very, we're all about, this is a family." That's what they'll say. I told my nephew this same thing when he was starting to go into work. I said, "That's a lie. That's a flat out, bald face lie. That is not true. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're purposely trying to mislead you with those statements." And that's because they are. They want you to believe that so that you will go ahead and you will think that it's okay that they change your schedule all the time. They will think that you will think that it's okay that they make you, they do things that will cause you to have medical problems later in life and stuff like that. And they want you to believe that. And it's absolutely incorrect. Total fallacy from start to finish. Because the moment you begin making more money than the moment you make more money than they could pay someone else minimum wage to do that job, you are now a liability, which means that they will go ahead and they will send you packing, even if they have to make shit up to send you packing. And that's just the reality. Because when you think about it, you own a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you have all of these things that are great, it's working out for you. But at the end of the day, you still need to think about your bottom line. You're a multi-billion-dollar corporation because you're a because you were able to make those kinds of decisions. Is it unacceptable? Yes, it is. But it is just generally accepted that that's the way things are. And it's really kind of sad, to be perfectly honest, because it didn't used to be that way. An organization like that would lose all of its workers back in the day. This is one of those things that I think gets muddied up in our fascination with talking about boomers and all that kind of stuff in today's society. Because what happens is you don't realize exactly what a boomer is when people are calling everybody who's above, 30 a boomer. In reality, back then, like I'll talk about my dad. My dad was able to go through college. Yeah, it was hard for him. There was many times where he was eating peanut butter and living in his car. But working a totally normal, like, factory job. There was a time period that he was working as a dude who power washed train cars. Those kinds of jobs, those are not going to pay for your schooling. In today's society, they're not going to. There's nothing you could do to make them pay. There's no amount of cutting corners you can do to make that an effective means to achieve your goals. So you have to go into debt. Debt, in reality, is a control mechanism. It's much easier to control people who think that they're not going to make decisions that are going to end up making them lose their jobs because they're in debt. They need to pay these bills. These bills are going to grow when they leave, or if they don't get their stuff done and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sorry to talk about something like this right now, but I warned you in the first video for Minecraft that I was going to go off on stuff. But it is what it is, man. It's a trap. That's what it's there to do. I remember explaining this to a guy who was driving a Corvette. He was driving a Corvette around and, he was bragging about it. And he started to piss me off. Started saying some things that I didn't like. Started insulting a couple people who were my friends. So I asked him, so how much does it cost you per month to have that? And he told me the payments. And I was like, so that's not your car? So yeah, it is. I've got it. I'm here in about 5 years. So I'm going to have it paid off. Yeah, in 5 years, you'll have a Corvette. Let's say tomorrow you lose your job. You don't get to do what you do anymore. You can't do the things you did, and you're having trouble finding work, like literally everyone else in society right now. What happens then? Well, your car goes back to the person who actually owns it. And you're going to be sitting on a bill which is going to accrue until you're able to come back up to a point where it is, or where you're able to pay it off. That's not your car. It never was. It's the bank's car. So how do you win? That's the real question. I'm a gamer at the core. So how do you win? Well, you need to be making enough money to go ahead and have in excess to what you needed to get that said to pay for that debt. So let's talk about. Well, it has to do a lot with the same reason that I don't have kids. I turned down the opportunity on multiple occasions. A few years ago, it was about almost a decade ago now. I was pretty rocked out. I was doing really well for myself, and I was getting really fit, very, very strong. There was a lot of attention that I got from the opposite sex, or to be more current gen, from the other individuals that I was interested in having relationships with. I turned down a lot of opportunities, and the reason that I told them was I said, no, I don't want to do this because there's no possible way that I can afford it. I just make enough money to pay for me, and I can go ahead and maybe pay for you, which I was doing at the time. Cutting a few corners, and I was able to go ahead and carry the two of us, and that was acceptable. I didn't care, whatever. It's like, oh, gee, darn, I don't get to buy an extra pack of cigarettes, or, I only get to have one carton of cigarettes this month. And the other carton of cigarettes worth of money is paying for this person's money, or paying for this person's food. Because I'm already buying food. It doesn't take, that much more money to go ahead and make my meals for two instead. And I can handle rent and utilities and things like that. So when that proposition came up, it was like, no, you're insane. What? That's like walking directly into the fire. I don't, it didn't make any sense to me. So that's how you win. Is you have to look at life in a way that where you actually want to succeed as opposed to what you want. So just seems silly to be. I need a powered furnace. Can I accept the debt and pay for, these house payments or something like that? Do I have enough money to do that and to have enough money to pay for me and somebody else and a possible kid in the future? No. Then the logical decision is to say, no, absolutely not. That's ridiculous. You're ridiculous for talking about it, for wanting to go that route. So, and it was funny because when I talked about this to people who are much older than me, real boomers, they go, oh, you should have just done it. It's like, this is why you have $150,000 of debt that you can't pay off. This is why you're going to probably pass that off to your children. This is why, you are working 40 hours a week and making, something in the range of $75,000 to $100,000 a year, and you still are having to like smash every single little penny to make it by each month. It's because you chose not to win. It's a trip. It is absolutely a trip. I need a powered furnace. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So occasionally I get like this. Occasionally I'm just going to talk about things that, are wild in these videos. What am I doing? Power electric furnace? Let's just type in furnace and see. I have the power available. What in the world? I never even heard of that. Small electrical furnace. Small metal case lab kiln. Solid fuel consuming, updraft, slightly hotter and better. 2 auxiliary slots, 2 stack internal hoppers, 5 for input. No, that's not what I want. Oh, that wasn't even the right one. Draw from all sides. No, see, I don't want that either. What's a blast furnace preheater? A deep slate furnace? I think that's just the same thing as a regular furnace. I'll have to look in mechanism. We got to switch to the next video too, because I'm going to hit into. I think I'll just stretch to 30 minutes on this one. What do we got here? Oh, smelting. Basic smelting factory. 0 FE of 12k FE. I could handle that. Yeah, I could. I realized that I'm jumping the gun again. I need to get the steel working, and then I need to make more of those. More of those and more energy cubes and all that kind of jazz. So let's go ahead and get the steel working, and we'll sleep through the night. And then we're going to switch over to the next video. I am definitely going to be continuing this talk that we've been on in the next video. So if you were hoping to hear more of my opinions on society and life, you will hear them. Or if you were just chilling, kicking back, watching this stuff, we're going to continue this on the next video. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.